Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Clermont Code Enforcement Board meeting. At this time, if you can, I would like to ask everyone to please stand so we can say our pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, we need to go over the minutes for March 16th and April 29th. If everyone has reviewed the minutes for March and April, do I have a motion to approve both?
Motion to approve the March 16th and April 29th meeting minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. At this time, I'd like to welcome everyone to the May 18th, 2026 City of Clermont Code Enforcement Board meeting. Before we begin, I would like to advise everyone about the procedures that govern appearances before this board. This meeting is open to the public under Florida's Government in the Sunshine Law, and it's being recorded on YouTube. The Code Enforcement Board is acting in a quasi-judicial capacity when considering individual cases. However, every effort will be made to hear all persons having relative evidence or arguments to offer in accordance with the rules for such proceedings. We ask that each person who speaks before the Code Enforcement Board sign the sign-in sheet located on the table up front. After opening remarks, all those who intend to speak today will be sworn in or affirmed. When asked if a respondent is present for your case, please come up to the podium. All proceedings before this board are electronically recorded. Please speak directly into the microphone at the podium and state your name and address clearly for the record. Additionally, in order to keep the meeting moving in a timely fashion, please limit your comments to only information related to the case being presented. The City of Clermont has the burden of proving a violation exists. The city presents their case, and then the respondent presents theirs. Once all cases where respondents are present have been heard, the board will then hear the remaining cases. Each party may question witnesses offered on behalf of the other party. Additionally, the board members and their attorney may question those appearing before the board. This board will then make its decision based upon the evidence and testimony presented by both parties. The board's role is to determine if a violation exists and, if so, in most cases, set a date for the violation to be corrected and set a fine if compliance is not met. It is not the board's role to advise you of a specific method or act that you can take to come into compliance. The Code Enforcement Board is appointed by the City of Clermont to review alleged violations of City of Clermont Code of Ordinance fairly and objectively. Its members are volunteers and not employees of the city. The board authority is limited to determining if a violation of the code exists. It does not have the authority to change the codes or ordinance. Although you may have evidence, argument, or circumstances that could justify being excused from compliance with the applicable code, you are advised that this board does not have the authority to grant you an excuse. Such an excuse is commonly referred to as a variance or exemption and may be granted through other procedures such as application to the city, but not by this Code Enforcement Board. To avoid interference with cases being presented to this board, all cell phones are to be turned off or silenced while in chambers. Thank you. Do we have any witness that want to testify today? Please
So-
stand.
Yep, so at this time, if you're here for a case and you wish to give testimony, I'd have to swear in the city's officers who are going to be testifying today and you. It's okay if you're a member of the public or a neighbor and don't know if you want to speak, but then want to speak. It's okay, just when you come up, let me know and I'll swear you in. But if you know you're going to be speaking on a case today, if you would, please raise your right hand. You can remain seated. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Avery Diane, and I'm the Assistant City Attorney. I'm just going to go over the agenda for tonight. We will start with unfinished business. Item 1, case number C24100015. The respondent is Euclides D. Corona Gutierrez. We will then move to item 2, case number C25020006. The respondent is Reliant Flips LLC. We will move to item 3, case number C24090026. Respondent Kendra Elam. Item 4, case number C25070007, respondent Grupo Cinco LLC. We will then move to new business, item 6, case number 26000065, the respondent John P. and Ann D. Adams Family LP. We will then move to item 7, case number 2500149, respondent Pop Florida Properties LLC. Then item 8, case number 2500023, and case number 2600083. That respondent is R&M Retail LP. We will then move to item 10, which will be case number 2500090, with respondent Seokis Properties LLC. Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Andrew Snodgrass, City of Clermont Code Enforcement. This is case number 2410-0015, 3262 Hanging Tide Street, Winter Garden. This is for a motion for order to impose a fine. This case was heard back in July 21st, 2025. This is the finding of facts from when the board heard this case. The board provided a compliance date of September 20th. This is the notice of hearing and motion to impose the fine. So the owner was found in violation by the Code Enforcement Board on July 1st, 2025. The board set a compliance date of September 20th, 2025, or fines would accrue in the amount of $150 per day. The property is still not in compliance to this date. So 240 days times 150 per day would make it $36,000 as of today. October 15th, 2024, complaint was received. October 22nd, the owner requested a 60-day extension, which was provided. Courtesy notice was given with December 22nd compliance date. January, owner requested another extension, 30-day extension given. Letter was provided. February, owner submitted a variance application for the build that he did without a permit. March 13th, home was listed for sale. On April 8th, the variance was denied at the evening council meeting. 60 days provided to the owner to obtain the permits. July, the Code Enforcement Board heard it, 60 days provided. August, plans were submitted for multiple permits online. All were denied due to missing or incorrect documents. February of 26, the final inspection called in for the addition. The permit did not include the sidewalk and the driveway extensions, and the plans do not match what was on the property. They didn't change anything on the property. They just submitted the plans for changes. March 2026, met with the contractor at City Hall, discussed the need for zoning clearances, variances, and that scope of work does not match the plans submitted. In April of 2026, the owner came to the counter, met with myself and my manager. We discussed removing the extended driveway and the patio pavers, which is the only thing left to get permitted for the property. They are in the setback and they would require a variance to remain in place. None of that has been removed. This is the property as of today, just kind of showing the property lines. Those red lines are an approximate property line. Per the plans, the driveway, the original driveway comes to the property line. So those added pavers definitely go into the setback area. So staff recommendation is just to approve the request to enter an order imposing a fine in the amount of $36,000. And that's all I have. You have any questions for me?
Madam Chair, can I ask a question real quick?
Yes, sir.
For the order imposing a fine of $36,000, are you also asking for which will continue to accrue until the property comes into compliance?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this case? See. Okay. Does anyone on the board have any further questions?
Is this a general contractor? Or just a homeowner?
There was a general contractor involved, yes.
Press. Excuse me.
Mr. Brown, they're asking you to press your mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, in order so it could be recorded.
Last meeting, I think.
Could you ask a question
There you
again,
go.
please?
Yeah, the question was there a general contractor on the project?
Yes, there was a general contractor involved after the fact.
After the fact.
I'm not sure who did the install, just after the fact,
Who submitted the
a general
request for
contractor,
permits?
a general contractor did submit the permit. It was not an owner builder.
If memory serves me correctly on this one here, it was the homeowner who did the original work on that.
Is that correct?
I think that's, yes.
I believe so. I'm not 100% correct, but I do believe so, yes.
If memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, this
Not-
was
Yeah.
before my time, so. But I have no mercy for general contractors. They do this all the time. They get people in trouble.
The general contractor is the one who submitted the plans that did not show the correct dimensions or what was actually installed on site. They called for a final inspection, and the what was installed did not match the plans.
And the variance request was for, I
The
know-
variance
I-
request
I
was
know what-
for setbacks to the rear.
Was it because the building was built back too far, I gather?
The gazebo was back too far. The patio and gazebo were in the rear setback.
Yeah. Okay.
And as of date, they're still not in compliance.
The rear patio is in compliance. It's pulled closer to the home, so it is out of the setback. There's still violations for setbacks on both sides of the house, along with no permit for a few things that were installed.
Have you heard anything from the owner of the property?
In April of 2026, I want to say, I can't give you the exact date, but it was approximately 3 weeks ago. He came in and the owner came in, spoke to me and my manager about the situation and said that he was going to remove the pavers.
And as of today, they haven't been removed?
No.
See.
No, this is a picture as of this morning, May
Pretty
18th at
negligent.
10:08. The driveway extension, the side pavers, and then it did not go into the rear, so I could not see if that was still in the setback as on the left side of the home.
And the town recommendation is,
$36,000, imposing a fine of $36,000, continuing to accrue for every day the property remains in violation, as it is still not in compliance.
Yeah.
okay.
You're gonna lean the house.
Can I get a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to find, yeah, for case number C2410-0015, that we impose a fine for negligence, that they failed to comply with the request of the city. And that's, I find them guilty. There really is no, yeah, the gravity of the violations, any action by the violator to correct, and previous violations, and this is an ongoing violation, obviously.
So, before there's a second, since this is simply a motion to impose the fine that's accrued, you already have your order finding them guilty, setting a time for compliance. The motion, you don't need to re-find them guilty. It's
Okay.
just a motion to impose the fine in the amount of $36,000, which shall continue to accrue until the property comes into compliance.
Thank you. And that would be your motion, sir?
Yes.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion pass.
All right, this next case is 2502-0006. This is 550 Distant Avenue. This is a motion for an order to impose a fine. The owner is here to speak and has submitted a fine reduction request as well. So like I said, this is for 550 Distant Avenue. This came to the board on July 21st, 2025 as well. The board provided 30 days to come into compliance. The original affidavit of compliance, the updated affidavit of compliance, what changed on there was that the original violation was corrected on October 29th. Spoke with the owner. He provided some documents from the pool company stating when the pool was able to be cleaned. The pool was actually in compliance on October 11th per the pool company. So I backdated the fines to October 11th. It's the notice of hearing and the motion for imposing a fine. The owner was found in violation on July 21st, 2025. Compliance date of August 20th, or fines would accrue at $150 per day. Property complaint came into compliance on October 11th, was in violation for 52 days. 52 days times $150 per day would be $7,800. Staff recommendation is to approve the request to enter an order imposing a fine in the amount of $7,800. With that said, as I said, the owner is here. He did submit a fine reduction request, so I'll move forward to that one. Just a quick timeline. The owner stated energy company had faulty equipment which prevented the home from having power, so the pool could not be maintained or cleaned. The fence was erected around the property in October of 2025. This was after the board heard the case. No permit for the fence, so a new case was started. That violation prevented the fine reduction packet from being heard, simply because the city will not hear a fine reduction if you still have violations on your property. I did meet with the owner on site and explain the fence permit requirement and request the info from the pool company when the pool was clean. Property was posted for sale in November of 2025. December of 25, the affidavit of compliance was sent out in the amount of $10,500. January 23rd, 2026, affidavit of compliance backdated from October 30th to October 11th per the pool company's date of cleaning. That changed the fine amount from $10,500 to $7,800. February 18th, I received a timeline from Duke Energy regarding repairs made to the service connection. This is the email from Duke Energy provided by the owner. And this is the fine reduction request from the owner. The proposed reduced fine amount would be $150. That's all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
Is there a staff recommendation with respect to the reduction in fine?
In respect to reduction of fine, normally we would normally request a 10% pay. So 10% of the fine be paid for a residential property.
Andrew, I noticed that in the checkoff sheet that the owner, it says the property owner was not cooperative, hasn't been cooperative with staff. Is that, what was the reason for that?
In the beginning, no.
They weren't.
Yes. In the beginning, there was no contact. I spoke with several workers that were on site, left business cards, spoke with the owner several times, and I think I met with him twice on property, or maybe once on property and once here at City Hall.
Is this LLC, is this they're fixing up a home to sell it, or is that what the idea here? You don't know?
I believe so, just by the name, but I'm not entirely sure. You could ask the owner about that.
They need to know the rules. Yeah.
Property is for sale, and per the closing agent that I spoke with today, they sent me an email. They do plan on closing on Wednesday.
Madam Chair, I do have one question for the city. if
Yes, sir.
I may. It's a little odd because this is a motion to impose the fine, but it's usually you'd have the fine imposed, then you'd have the reduction request, and then you hear them separately. They're being heard at the same time.
Yes.
So it is the city's request that if the board wishes to consider a reduction, that it impose whatever reduction in the 7,800 amount that's due as their order imposing the fine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So if you would like to reduce the fine, here the fine reduction, then whatever you would like to reduce it to, I would like, their staff recommendation would then be to impose that amount to be paid within, well, hopefully 30 days.
You said there's someone here to speak on behalf of this case?
Yes.
Is that person present? Could you please come to the podium and state your name and address? Right here.
My name's David Buckles, 550 Distant. Yeah, so in regards to this, I believe with the timeline they provided, Duke Energy had a tree limit hit the power line shorted the panel at the house. It was extenuating circumstances beyond our control, provided that timeline, which was why I put that in the reduction with the reduction request of the 150. So, in reference to playing phone tag in the beginning, yeah, Andrew and I weren't able to communicate in the beginning, but him, the staff, everyone's been helpful in helping me kind of get where we needed. Because we did end up putting a fence to hide the ugly pool, but then the fence people didn't file the permit, so then I chased in that we did the permit. So it was a little bit of a runaround, but we got that situation handled. We got the pool cleaned as soon as the power company was able to fix it, and that's it.
I have a question. So based on the timeline that was presented from Duke Energy, there's a few months that passed that doesn't match your timeline.
Can you pull that back up? Because I think I reached out, service order number was placed on 7/1.
Right, but the power line messed up in April.
So when I told that to Andrew, you're correct, and that's why he said, hey, whatever documentation you can get me from Duke to back that up, I got this. And so when I brought it in, I think it might even be in our email communications. Today I was off a little bit with the timelines, but here's what we got. Because yeah, it was like that for a few months.
Does anyone live in the home?
No.
Are you the owner or the contractor?
Yes. So,
Okay, thank you. Any further questions?
What are the power requirements for the pool?
it was like it was a broken neutral. They had to come fix something with the exterior meter from their service line to the house.
You couldn't acquire a emergency generator to get the pool going?
No one was living there, no, yeah.
Okay.
And even if I wanted to put a generator there, it would be a noisy generator with gas and someone would have to man it regularly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Any further questions?
I do have another question. So the tree fell, the power was damaged in April. It came before the board in July. Duke fixed it in July, so what happened between July and October that caused the fine to be so much? Why wasn't it in compliance if it was fixed?
So going back on the timeline to the April timeframe, we pulled permits originally and we had like 3 of the panels replaced at the house, interior, exterior, and the sub panel. So we had previously done like extensive, electrical work there. And so when this had happened, like we had to call Duke for a separate disconnect while they were doing the exterior panel. So there were a number of times that there was electrical work being done that did cause the pool to go unmaintained. But the most severe one was when the meter was out, when the broken neutral happened. When was the fine started? Or when was the original?
I believe it's August 20th, 2025.
August 20th. So where did the April date come from again, Christopher, sir?
From you. You
Oh,
wrote,
and that's what I wrote down. Yeah, my timeline was off by that.
yeah, you wrote that you lost power in April. So then from April until it came before the board on the 21st, and then based on the Duke, there was a service request put in
Right, in July.
around July the 21st. And then it wasn't, as of October, it was still not in compliance.
So in reference to the April, I could be off with the timeline. That could just be a clerical error on my part with it's remembering exactly when that incident occurred. But when it became an issue and I was trying to tell Andrew what happened, it was like, hey dude, this is what happened. He said, prove it. And here's me proving it. My recollection of the dates are a little off.
The only reason I asked that, it would just be hard for me to accept your request if this happened in April based on your timeline and it wasn't until July that something was actually called in, because that's not an oops.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't think it was that long. I don't think the pool was for months before you initiated the violation, correct?
I'd have to go back and see exactly when the case opened.
I think it said July 21st.
That's when it was heard before the board.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yes, that's when it was heard before the board, which usually takes a month or two.
From the findings of fact, from the order that was issued in July, it says the violation
February.
noticed. Yes,
February.
February 5th.
Okay.
February 5th.
Any further questions?
So, Madam Chair, this one's also a little strange because there you have the competing motion to impose the fine with also the reduction request. But
Correct.
so long as, the maximum fine is the $7,800. That's the $150 for the number of days that it was out of compliance until October 11th, I believe. Is that right?
Yes.
So you all have the discretion to impose total amount of fine somewhere in that range, just not over $7,800. And that would be what the order is for. it'd be a motion, or it'd be an order, motion to impose a fine in such and such amount.
Would the motion include the reduction? Or
Right, so if you wanted, the respondent has requested $150 total fine. So if that's what you wanted to do, you'd be a motion to impose a fine in the total amount of $150, if that's what you wanted to do.
And the town is recommending 10%, which would be $780.
a 10% reduction?
No, reduced down to 10% of the fine amount.
Yes, reduced down to 10%,
Sorry.
which would be $780.
Do you have access to my permit records, or is that something that I could like pull up while we're talking about it?
I
Because
don't have access to it here.
Yeah, okay. The reason I was asking that is because we did extensive electrical work here, and because we did that, it took multiple rounds of troubleshooting before we even called Duke. And there's a lot of that stuff that did go on in reference to what Chris was saying for timeline's sake too. So we've had power on and off, we've had permits, we do have record of the permit, I probably should have been a little bit more prepared for that portion of it. But before we knew it was a Duke problem, the electricians were doing what they were doing to try and troubleshoot, and they said, I got nothing, you gotta call Duke. So then that's when we did call Duke.
I see. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we, that the board orders, I'm sorry, in case number 2502-006, make a motion that we enforce a fine, an administrative fine in the amount of $7,800. I further moved that the fine then is to be reduced to $1,000, payable by June 15th, 2026.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
And just a question for the board, if the fine's not paid by, I forgot the date, June?
By June 15th, the amount shall revert to the original amount.
Can we make that a separate motion, just so that's included in the order?
Would you like me to start over from the
No,
beginning,
no, you
Council?
can just
No, no.
add
Okay.
on.
I'd like to make a second motion that if the fine is not paid by June 15, 2026, the original fine amount shall revert back to $7,800.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
There was just one question because the house, I believe, is closing on Wednesday, so we would just ask that the fine needs to be imposed immediately so that it can get onto the settlement.
That was the first part of this motion.
Okay.
These go way back.
I have a quick question for Counselor here. So with this situation here, with this property potentially closing soon, in the city of Clermont, do those fines run with the land?
They do.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Code Enforcement Board. Joshua Cortez for the City of Clermont Code Enforcement. This is going to be for item number 3, case number C2409-0026. The respondent is Kendra Alam. This is going to be a motion for order imposing fine. This is the finding of facts dated March 17th, 2025, finding the respondent in violations of the sections stated. This is the notice that was sent to the respondent in this case. This is a photo that was presented at the initial code enforcement board hearing showing some of the accessory structures that were placed or installed, constructed on the property. Another one. And the last one. Picture of the property. These are the 3 permits that the respondent needed. 250106 was actually never issued. That was rejected. The issued portion cannot be removed from the software, but it was rejected. The plans were never approved. Permit number 25011, that was an issued permit. It is now since expired. And lastly, permit 2500112 for a screen enclosure was also never issued. The owner was found in violation by the Code Enforcement Board and set a compliance date of May 16, 2025, or fines would begin to accrue at $150 per day. As of today, the fine will have accrued to $55,050 for failure to comply for 367 days. The staff recommendation is to approve the motion for an order imposing the fine. I have nothing further. If you have any questions for me.
Just similar questions I asked in the last case for the fine and the total amount of $55,050, which shall continue to accrue until the property comes into compliance. Is that your motion?
That is correct. Yeah, thank you for clarifying.
Mr. Cortez, any contact with the homeowner?
Contact has been pretty minimal. Both myself and the code enforcement manager, Evie, have on several occasions tried to contact her. On the few occasions that we can speak to her via phone, the phone calls are not very productive. She's not combative or argumentative. It's just the phone calls do not yield any results.
Okay, thank you.
What is the remedy for compliance?
Compliance in this case is that all of the permits be issued.
And has there been, like, what is the reason, other than letting the permit expire, has there been a reason why permits have been rejected? They're just not submitting the proper paperwork?
I would have to look to see what specifically the plans examiners are citing, but I know in one case, the issue has to deal with those French doors, for example, were not a like-for-like change-out. Those doors were placed on the side of the structure where there were no previously doors.
Correct.
Yeah, so that created some issues for both the respondent and permitting, frankly, when trying to understand what was actually done on the property. That's just one example.
Okay, thank you.
Josh, you had shown other permits there that actually were issued, though, right? The shed and the, or just the shed was the only one that actually was issued, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yep. So 250106 was never actually issued.
Yeah.
And then the only one that was issued of the bunch is 250111.
The shed. Okay.
And
Thank
it's
you.
expired, correct? It was never final?
Correct.
Were any inspections called on that? Can't tell.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this case? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to make a motion.
Please.
On case C2409-0026, I'd like to make a motion based on the city's request to impose a fine. What was the fine amount again?
55.
$55,000
And 50.
and $55,050, and the fine to continue to accrue for as long as the the address the homeowner is in violation.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Let's see, who do we got here? So this is FCH. Okay. Okay, moving on to item 4. This is case number C2507-0007. The respondent is Grupo Cinco LLC. The address is 1326 East Avenue. This is a fine reduction request. This is a screenshot from GIS showing the property's location. This is the notice that was sent to the respondent. This is the finding of facts from the Code Enforcement Board hearing on November 17th, 2025, finding the respondent in violation of the section stated. This is the respondent's fine reduction request packet. The respondent in this case is proposing to pay a reduced amount of $100. These are some photos that were taken and presented to the Code Enforcement Board at the initial hearing. This is showing that the permit is current and valid. The staff recommendation is that the fine amount, which is $7,200, be reduced by 80% down to $1,440 to be paid within 30 days, June 17th, 2026. Or the fine will revert back to the original amount owed. I have nothing further if you have any questions for me.
Yes, I have a question. This is based on the fact that there wasn't a building permit at the time?
That is correct. The work was started without a permit.
Okay. And they did apply for a permit and received it?
That is correct.
So the only issue is about the work permit?
Today the property is in compliance, and this is a reduction request for the respondent. And in response to that reduction request, the staff recommendation is that the fine be reduced from $7,200 down to $1,440.
So I remember this one. What, isn't the owner a contractor?
The owner, I'm not sure. We have the respondent here. That may be a question for the respondent, if you want to come up.
Please state your name and address at the podium.
Hi, my name is Andres Torres, the owner of the house of 1326 East Avenue, Clermont. I'm sorry for my English. I come from Colombia, where I live to attend this appointment. The project, I work with the general contractor. As I mentioned, on November 17, I aware of the submit the plans that were approved with the city and follow the enter inspection approval process accordingly. The house will be completed this week in accordance with the required codes. The house was originally in very poor conditions. Now the house will be a beautiful addition to the community. I kindly request that you waive any penalties I was have incurred. We have incurred significant costs. I'm sorry, what my English.
So my question for you is, I remember you were here in November,
Yeah.
and I remember I asked you if you were a contractor, and you told me you were, because I had said to you that being a contractor, you should have known about the permits you needed pulled. Are you a contractor
Yeah.
in the state of Florida?
Yeah.
So the contractor error that you wrote as for your reason for a fine reduction is your error.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any further questions?
Curious about all the subcontractors, electrical, plumbing. Were those all pulled, those permits?
Yes, all of the subs that are associated with the permit, they're in good standing.
Oh, okay.
I finished the project this week with all approved, only the final inspection.
Can I get a motion?
I'd like to make one, but I'm still a little hung up on my other chair member's comment about the contractor part of it. And, is staff's reduction really a good number based on what we've learned here and how we feel about that? And I'm kind of hung up on that right now. So maybe a little guidance from others may help in that situation.
If that's a question towards me, then I would say no, staff's request I wouldn't follow staff's request. It would be significantly more, because again, that's based on the response of contractor ignorance or error, whatever is written down. I can't.
Yeah, I can't buy that. Yeah.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion in case number 2507-007. I move that the existing fine be reduced to $3,500 with the stipulation that the reduced fine will be paid to the city of Clermont on or before June 17th, 2026, or the fine will revert back to the original amount owed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
That was-
Okay, moving on to item 5. This is going to be for case number C2312-0028 and case number C2402-0057. The respondent is FCH Properties LLC, and the property address is 2480 South US Highway 27.
Officer, before you begin, I just want to make sure you want to proceed with this case, because when we began, you skipped over this one to move to the next case.
Because the respondent wasn't here.
Okay, we're good. I'm sorry to interrupt you, just wanted to make sure.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it.
Got me on that.
Sorry about that, board. All right. This is a screenshot from GIS showing the property's location. This is the notice that was sent to the respondent. This is the finding of facts for case number C2312-0028 for the hearing that took place on May 20th, 2024. The respondent was ordered to correct the violations on or before June 19th, 2024, or a $250 per day fine would begin to accrue. This is the finding of facts for case number C2402-0057 that took place on May 20th, 2024, where the same order was imposed in this case, $250 a day for any violation continuing past June 19th, 2024. This is the respondent's fine reduction request packet. The respondent in this case is proposing to pay $0, to have the fine waived. This is a photo that was presented to the Code Enforcement Board initially. This is showing erosion, runoff, sedimentation onto an adjacent property. It's a picture of the property. For case number C2312-0028, the Code Enforcement Board hearing took place on May 20th, 2024. The property was in compliance May 19th, 2025. The total days in violation were 333. The fine owed is $83,250. Staff's recommendation is to reduce that fine 80% down to $16,650. to be paid within 90 days, or the fine will revert back to the original amount. This is the case summary for case number C2402-0057. The Code Enforcement Board hearing took place on May 20th, 2024. The property was in compliance on March 2nd, 2026. The total days in violation are 621. The total fine amount having accrued is $155,250. The staff's recommendation is, again, it's an 80% reduction down to $31,050 to be paid within 90 days. And this is just sort of a total breakdown showing kind of the big picture. The total fines across both properties has accrued to $238,500. Staff's recommendation of 80% would bring the reduction down to $47,700 to be paid within 90 days. I have nothing further if you have any questions for me.
And just to clarify, we are asking for 2 separate orders, one for each case.
Thank you.
And the respondent is here, Salem.
Would you like to step forward to the podium and state your name and address, please?
And sir, did I swear you in when we started? Okay. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
So, I appreciate the staff recommendation. It was a very difficult situation as I was an owner-operator in that business, and the business suffered some serious hardship, and we dealt with a lot of back and forth with lenders, with manufacturers, and fought to stay in business and keep everything current. We ended up bringing in a tenant, as I think most of you know, and that was a struggle to make happen, but it did happen. And during that time, we did our best to stay on top of all of the issues. We, meaning me personally, I had folks that were in charge of this project that were no longer with us. They had worked in the business, but with the transition of the business, financial hardship, we lost staff, and it was a major learning curve for me to understand the issues and resolve the issues and to be able to fund the work that needed to be done. We did maintain regular communication. We have a tenant in place now. And we did finally square up all the issues.
Sir, if you could just state your name and address for the record. I'm sorry, I know.
Sorry about that. Salem Hassan, and it's 6821 South Point Drive North, Jacksonville, Florida. 32216.
So I just, and you're asking for zero.
Yes, sir.
May I ask, I understand hardships. How do you, just for me, my question, how do you justify no liability, though?
It certainly had nothing to do with neglect. It had nothing to do with any ill intent whatsoever on our part. I don't like to not accept blame. Ultimately, I'm the one responsible, but due to the business and the hardships that the business experienced and really the struggles that we went through over a 24-month period, I was just in no way in position to truly understand everything that needed to be completed. And I had a GC involved early on. That GC was no longer involved. And it was an act of Congress just to get through that period, get a tenant in, try to survive that financial hardship, and dealing with some personal issues throughout that time. Mother dying of cancer, taking care of an elderly father. It was just a storm for that period.
I have one question for you. How cooperative through the process?
The respondent has been extremely cooperative and communicative
Okay.
toward code enforcement.
I also have a question. I was looking at the photographs, and correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, oh, right there. It shows December 28th, 2023. So this is like 2.5 years ago. Can you tell me when the violation was sent to the property owner? And when it was posted?
Yes, give me just a moment.
I think if it'll help, it's on paragraph 2 of the findings of fact, conclusions of law and order.
That is correct. The notice of violation for the violations pictured in that slide is December 29th, 2023.
And for the other case, just for the record,
Just a second here.
it's in the same paragraph.
It's going to be February 23rd, 2023.
February 2023?
February 23rd, 2023.
Joshua, what case was that? What case number was that?
That's going to be for case number C2402-0057.
Okay, it's the second one.
Both cases were presented together initially.
What kind of a project was it?
It wasn't a project. Code enforcement found the conditions on the property just in our travels.
And this is due to the erosion.
So there was one case that centered around erosion and runoff, and then there was another case that centered around permits that had not been finalized. And that was the case that went on for the longest period of time, trying to get all of these different permits finalized.
So the permits were the February 2023, and then the soil, the silt travel was on the December 2023?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Does the board have any further questions?
And this is resolved now?
Yes, the property is in full compliance at this time.
How long has Camping World been a tenant now?
About 18 months.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Can I get a motion, please?
It's a tricky one. They have to be separate, right?
Yes.
One for each case, yes, sir.
If you'd like to see both of those slides and their breakdowns,
Yeah.
I can go back and forth just.
And this one with the reduction to 16,650, that would be for case, which case number?
That would be for case number C2312-0028.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, I see it right here. All right.
Nobody wants to jump on it. Okay. All right, I'd like to make a motion in case number C2312-0028. I move that the existing fine be reduced to $15,000 and stipulate that the fine be paid to the city of Clermont on or before 90 days is
August 17th?
paid by August 17th, 2026, or the fine will revert to the original amount owed.
Which would be $83,250?
That is correct.
Thank you.
And we want to second, we continue with the second motion, or we want to vote on this
No,
one?
we're going to vote on this.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion pass.
Okay.
In case C2402-0057, I move that the existing fine be reduced to $20,000 with the stipulation that the reduced fine will be paid to the city of Clermont on or before August 17th, 2026. Failure to pay the total reduced fine will result in the fine reverting to its original amount of $155,250.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Okay. Make sure I have the right one here. All right. Okay, we're gonna move to item 8. This is going to be case number 25-000203 and case number 26-000083. The respondent is R&M Retail LP. The property address for the first case is going to be 16526 State Road 50 and 1042 Highway 50. The violations, the sections cited in this case are going to be section 117-8, prohibited signs, subsections 11, 15, and 22, as well as the Section 302.3 from the International Property Maintenance Code, sidewalks and driveways. Section 117-8, prohibited signs, exceptions, shall be unlawful to erect, cause to be erect, maintain, or cause to be maintained any sign described as follows: banner signs, signs in the public right-of-way, or on public utility poles and trees. And subsection 22, any other signs that are not specifically permitted or exempted by this chapter. Section 302.3 reads, sidewalks, walkways, stairs, driveways, parking spaces, and similar areas shall be kept in a proper state of repair and maintained free from hazardous conditions. This is a screenshot from GIS, a Lake County Property Appraiser, showing the parcels. Parcels 2 and 3 are under the same information. They come up with the same alternate key, same parcel identifier, same property description. Notices of violation were sent April 2nd, 2026. The compliance date was April 29th. These were delivered on April 6th. The notices of hearing were sent on April 20th. Notices of hearing were delivered on April 27th. The compliance status as of today's hearing is the property is in partial compliance. This is the notice of violation for both parcels, both properties. These two notices were sent together and show as having been delivered on April 6th. This is the notice of hearing listing both case numbers, and this was delivered on April 27th. This is an email from a Lake County staff member, Kim Roderick, when asked about the sidewalk in this case. Kim's and the county's position is that it is outside of the right-of-way and it is the responsibility of the shopping plaza to maintain. This is a picture of the property in December of 2025. Code enforcement responded to a citizen complaint alleging that the sidewalk had essentially become unusable to the citizenry due to vegetation obstruction and other conditions. This is another picture just past the vegetation shown in the last slide. This is another more recent picture on 4/2/26. Pictured in the back of the image towards the top of the screen, you can see a lighter patch of sidewalk. That portion of the sidewalk was repaired by the respondent, and when I went back for a follow-up inspection, after some of the vegetation had been removed and cleared, I could see that there were still issues with the sidewalk in other locations. Up to this point, I was in communication with the property manager, a lady named Shauna, mostly via email. This is a picture of the plaza itself, showing some signage, some prohibited signage. Picture taken 4/29/26, showing prohibited signage off-site. Photo taken 4/29/26, showing still damaged portions of sidewalk. Again, 42926, sidewalk partially obstructed with vegetation. A picture taken today showing signage, more signage, more signage. This is also a picture that was taken today showing that portions of the sidewalk are still obstructed with vegetation. Another photo. A photo showing damaged portions of the sidewalk. More photos of other areas. The staff recommendation in this case is to find the respondent was in violation of section 117, subsection 15, and to find the respondent is in violation still of all the other sections stated. Additionally, to assess a fine of $250 for each case individually per day for every day that the property remains in violation after June 17th, 2026. I have nothing further. If you have any questions for me, and I believe the respondent is here.
How do you may or may not have this answer. Do you by any chance know approximately linear feet of sidewalk they're responsible for, and how much of that needs to be, like how large are these areas?
I don't have the total amount. It was we were more focused on the particular portions in question. But just the affected sections are.
Or how many affected sections are there?
It spans approximately 200 feet.
Okay. So it'd be the length of that strip that's down along that side?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that sidewalk would be considered on the property of the parcel, not, it's not like a public sidewalk. You understand what I'm asking?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So in this case, it's the Lake County is advising that it is outside of the right-of-way, not their responsibility, and that the responsibility of the sidewalk is on the plaza, so it's on the respondent, and that, of course, is the position of the city of Clermont as well. And,
Okay.
I'll go back.
Is there a mall management company? I'm sorry. Josh, is
I'm
there
sorry, say that again?
A mall management company?
Like a property management company?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And the representative is Shauna. She is here. It's a V3 Capital Group, I believe.
Okay.
I see. And one other question. Now, you say the signage that is illegal, are you talking about those signs where people just poke them in the ground? Or the ones that the
bandit
businesses
signs?
may put out, those folding ones, to show their menus and stuff? I just want to be clear on that.
So in this case, most of the signage, all of the signage, I believe, is coming from the tenant businesses within the plaza. So I don't know that there was an example of any signage that was coming from a company not within that plaza.
I think what she's asking is the bandit signs, the sandwich boards, the large wavy banners that you see those. So none of those are allowed within the city of Clermont without having a special permit to have those outside of
Yeah, let me go back
your building signage permit that you would put up on the building.
That's correct.
I see.
Yeah,
Does that include window cling signage? Is there a limit on that as far as for a fixed facility, or?
Like signage that's kind of affixed to the window of the tenant businesses?
Yeah, is there any code violation? No, there's nothing in the code for restricting that.
There may be, but that's not one of the violations that were cited in this case.
Gotcha.
The only reason why I'm asking is because a lot of times you see people, who have their own small business, they buy these signs that they can just push in the ground, they'll put it on the side of the highway, and it's not really the property owner that's on the highway that's doing that. It's just a random person trying to advertise their business. That's why I want to be clear on that, because I've seen it all the time, where people, they just come out of their truck and they put a sign in the parking lot, and it's not really, it's the only reason I'm asking that.
Of course, and you're absolutely right. Yeah, definitely, that's a problem in every municipality. Is people come, and you see it junk cars all the time, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, with these signs here, that tax business that put these signs out on the right of way off-site, that is a tenant business
Okay.
that's within this plaza.
Okay, thank you.
As are the other signs that are shown.
Thank you. I just wanted to be clear on that.
So they're not even allowed to have those inside of their property line either? Because you showed a picture of one on an island inside of there with one of those.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I have one question for the city.
Yes, sir.
In your recommendation, for the notice of violations for both properties, for section 117-8, am I correct that, with respect to your request that the board find them in violation, you're asking them not to find them in violation of section 117-8, subsection 15? Was that the exception?
No, sir, that's not quite right.
Okay,
What the
which specific from?
What the city
11
is asking
to
for
22?
with regards to that is that the board recognized that for that particular subsection, they are currently in compliance, while the other subsections of 117.8 and the property maintenance code that were cited, they are still in violation of.
Right, so the only exception, they'd find them, if they were to find them in violations, for the reasons stated in the notice of violation, it's everything except for subsection 15. Is that correct?
I don't,
Why would you, because it says the exceptions in subsection 15. So which are they currently in compliance with?
the portion that they are currently in compliance with are the off-site signage. They are not currently in violation of the off-site signage.
Which is
Or I'm
11,
sorry,
15, or
let me
22?
go back. Let me go back here. I'm sorry, that is going to be on the, that subsection 15 is going to be the utility pole one, and that one has been removed.
Okay.
So is it,
I misspoke about the code section of off-site. Please forgive me. So that particular section that I'm saying they are in compliance of deals with signs that are in the right-of-way and on utility poles.
So it's
That
not-
portion is in compliance.
okay, so subsection 117-8, subsection 15, they're currently in compliance?
That is correct.
Okay, understood.
Just for clarification, this one, again, is being brought as two separate cases, so we would ask for two separate orders. The two separate cases are based on the parcel, so, but the violation exists across parcels, if you want to go back to that.
So we're looking for one violation,
203.
which would be the sidewalks, and the other one would be the signage?
That's not correct,
Okay.
it's sidewalks and signage on both parcels.
This parcel 1 is going to have it, and then parcel 3.
Yeah, so to answer your question, or maybe to try to help you understand, so there are, as it would appear, 3 parcels. However, parcels that are listed or numbered as number 2 and 3, you can see are split by the parcel labeled number 1. Parcels 2 and 3, though, however, have the exact same property identification information, parcel number, alternate key, address, legal description. So although it is kind of strange that number 1 would split 2 and 3, but 2 and 3, it's a package deal.
So what you're saying is that all 3 parcels is owned by the same party?
That's correct.
Okay, very good.
And so the city's looking for, and the respondent's here, so you need to hear from the respondent before making a motion, but case number 25-000203 is with respect to the parcel that has an address of 16526 State Road 50, whereas case number 26-000083 has an address of 1042 Highway 50. So the same violations on both cases, but that's why they need separate orders.
That is correct.
But after you hear from the respondent.
Is there someone here to represent this case? Please state your name and address.
Shauna Martinez. I'm the property manager with B3 Capital Group.
And your address?
Property address?
Yes.
1008 South East Highway 50 in Clermont.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just put something together to try to make more sense of it. I was notified by Joshua of the vegetation over the sidewalk on South Grand Highway and the sidewalk, uneven, it being uneven and broken. So when I received that from him, I did go out, I sent a crew out to clear the vegetation out. At that time, it was completely clear. And then he also provided a photo with the email that he sent in the violation with the measurements and a kind of outline on that photo, the area of concern and the violation. So it was very clear, there was, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 panels that was uneven due to the roots and needed to be either grinded down or replaced. I complied, we cleared everything out, we actually replaced the whole section of the sidewalk that he requested, and everything was, it was my understanding everything was clear. And then, I have the email dates on here, sorry. I received another email from Joshua asking, requesting that additional sidewalk be replaced. So at that time, I did request, like you did previously, a picture or measurements or something showing the new area of concern. We had a crew out there, you know, we spent a few $1,000s on getting everything up to compliance. If I would have known there was additional area that was in concern, I would have had it repaired at that time. So after that notification from him, I was advised to reevaluate the property line and right-of-way. We do have a Duke easement on that area of the sidewalk and that whole side of the property. But it was my understanding I was told to basically investigate more of the right-of-way and if it fell onto the ownership's responsibility to repair. When I requested, that's some of the email chain on here, when I requested the documentation, I never received it. So I understand the city side of it. I pulled the survey from when we purchased the building, and the valuation that I was told is that it was right away. Our property line was right away. So I requested kind of something just verifying who does it fall on. That was the first request, and then again, the second request was, can you please clarify the area of concern? If it falls on us, we've already showed good faith, we've already completely replaced part of the sidewalk. We're happy to do it again, I just need that clarified. And it was never clarified, and I was just told a hearing has been set.
Now, you're the management of the property?
Yes.
Did you have anyone go back and inspect the length of your property where the sidewalk is? To see all the, so you noticed that there was overgrowth that needed to be cleared in order to walk there, which would reveal cracks and broken parts of the sidewalk.
Correct. Correct.
So you could
Correct.
see all of that.
It was completely overgrown. I was not aware we had to maintain, again, the right of way and easement. It was a fault of myself, not knowing we needed to maintain that. So when it was brought to my attention, I mean, within a week, I had someone out, completely cleared it. Some of the photos that I have in the papers shows that it was cleared. I'm not sure how the photos that Joshua had up there, how far back that was, if that's where our property line is. I was not aware of the photo and I was just there, so I wasn't aware of that area. None of the stuff that was there, that photo must have been the very beginning of this, maybe the beginning of April. So, yeah, I don't.
I understand.
Like I said, we're more than willing and happy to repair anything that falls under our responsibility. I just wanted some clarification on that. That's the survey that shows where the property line. I do know that property appraisal's survey is not the same. It doesn't seem like that property line is matching up with the surveyor. I did call the surveyor that prepared this, And, he was on vacation, of course, for 2 weeks, and could not get out there in time.
Well, I for one would sure be able to love to read those, what this says, but my eyes are
are we
just
able
too
to
old.
I had staff go ahead and put it up on the screen there.
Okay.
For us.
Am I able to cross-examine the witness? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
When-
I'm,
When she's done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Are you,
I mean-
are you finished?
yeah.
And before you begin, so the respondent provided a packet to the board, and it'll be included in the evidence in this case, so they all have it now.
And that, again, that was just to kind of
That is a portion. of it.
oversight on what
Oh, I haven't
the
seen the packet.
communication between myself and the officer has been.
Oh, I don't think we've been provided the packet.
Oh, I have another one.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I ask you where you think, or where your position is on the property line? Is it, I don't know whether it's
Well, I-
defined on here.
I think staff, if you could pull that down, what we're really looking at is probably the top left corner right now, because I do believe that's going to mark our point of beginning for the legal description. Because you can't see it right now, because it's going to be on the, on Old Highway 50,
Yeah, so it's gonna be upper left.
top left corner.
Right.
You want to see.
It's gonna show
this
lot
portion.
No, up
7B.
the top left.
Top left.
See that
Yeah,
mark
right
right
there.
there?
There you go.
That's what we're trying to get a better zoom in, figure out what we've got
So
going
it's
on there.
near the retention pond where it says lot, it's to the left.
Yeah, I was just hoping we'd be able to see like point of beginning noted.
I'm sorry.
I know, it's,
So to manage this property, Shauna, right?
Yes.
Yeah, to manage this property, do you have to be a CAM? Do you have a CAM license?
No, I'm
No.
a real estate agent, but you don't need.
in
to.
commercial real estate, you do not need a CAM license. It's only for, you only need a CAM if you're managing HOAs and POAs to manage commercial or
Thankfully,
residential.
I don't wanna do HOA.
No, you don't want.
I have a question for the city. So when you spoke with Lake County, do we have anything that shows what the easement is from off the street? Like where does that sidewalk fall foot-wise within their easement or outside of? Because that's what I would like to see here. You know,
Yeah,
what the
I'm not
set-
sure
the
what this
setback
document is, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't.
This is a
This
leak-
is from the respondent. I don't know what this is. If we want to pull back up our, from the property
Soil
appraisal.
development.
Yes, so as the city, we reviewed the legal description of the property. The meets and bounds, fall outside of the sidewalk. We confirmed with Public Works that the city does not own or maintain the sidewalk. We also confirmed with Lake County that the Lake County does not own or maintain the sidewalk. The sidewalk is on private property, well within the legal description of the two parcels.
Thank you.
Okay.
And if I could add to that, if you look at the email, I don't know what page it's on, the communication email between myself and Joshua, I did request that. I was told that, you guys were consulting with your attorney on, just to verify that, where that right of way was, and I never received anything back. And that's all I really needed, was something to state, just show me that I'm incorrect on this, and we'll have it repaired.
I have a question for the staff. At this moment, basically what we're looking for is to have this corrected
Yes,
and set a time
yes,
and date for this to be corrected.
yes.
That's pretty much where we're at right now, just to have this corrected.
I just need something for ownership showing
Yeah.
exactly what if you received anything from the attorney, showing it falls on the parcel.
Yeah,
It
and
falls on
so,
ownership.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but what the respondent is saying is she believes the survey that she has provided, or the document that looks like a survey that she's provided and checked to see if it was signed and sealed, and I know it's a copy, so I'm not telling you what credibility to give it. But her suggestion is, or her argument is, that the sidewalk is not on their property, which is an issue that she's risen. You all can decide whether or not they need time to look at it or not, based on what you've heard. City attorney can make argument, just like I can make argument, or respondent's attorney could make argument, but they can't testify.
So would this be a continuance?
Certainly if the survey showed that that the sidewalk was in the right of way and not on private property, you would have a legal issue with code enforcement of the sidewalk. If it shows the opposite, you have no issue. You just have to determine whether or not you have competent substantial evidence before you right now to make that determination. And I can't
I
tell
agree.
you what the answer is. I haven't decided yet.
Miss, how long will your survey person be away? When will he be back?
He said this week, sometime this week,
And he's the one that did the survey
originally.
upon which you purchased the property or relied
No,
on?
he was part of development. And I also tried to research if we had any type of development agreement. Sometimes that does show whose responsibility it falls under, and we didn't have that.
For the city, would this be sufficient information for the survey company that did the, I guess, the sub development? Would that be sufficient to clarify? Because this GIS information, I'm not sure is the equivalent of an actual survey document. Those are lines superimposed on a map.
Yeah. Yes, so, it's my understanding that, our position is based on the actual legal description. I do have a copy of the actual legal description if you would like to see it.
Did you have a surveyor go out and do the meets and bounds of the legal description? It's just a legal description on the
It's just a
property
legal
appraiser's
description, yeah.
website, right?
So you have no
Okay.
point of beginning to know where that is. So you have inconclusive.
Now, I
Somewhere to
have,
walk the
I have
property.
one question. City of Clermont has on file in their records a survey of all properties. Is that correct or incorrect?
Can you repeat the question?
The answer is yes, because when you submit a building permit, you have to submit, for
A
new
survey.
construction, you have to submit a survey. So they should have it, where it is, how it's filed.
Yes, that's where I'm getting to. The City of Claremont should have a survey of this property, and it would behoove us if we could see that survey, so we can determine, to answer this young lady's question, whether or not it's the responsibility of the city or the responsibility of the property owner. Without that survey, based on what she's showing us, it's, for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but it's very difficult for me to see or understand, because it doesn't look like any survey I've ever seen. Because every survey I've seen and purchasing properties, it's very clear, defined, and as our attorney says, it does have a seal on it, which makes it official.
No, I said I
There
couldn't
was,
tell.
you can't.
I know,
yeah.
I said I can't tell either.
Yeah,
But
it's-
there's, on every survey, it has to have seal, it has to be registered. Just based on what I've seen here, that doesn't look like any survey I have ever seen.
I have additional certified surveys.
Well, that's what I would
Printed
like to
out.
see.
Yeah.
I do have a question, though, that would help for me as far as who's, so is this a city-maintained road and easement, or is this a Lake County?
It's neither for the sidewalk.
So is there a sidewalk on,
Oh, the road, the county maintains the road.
so, and the opposite side, who maintains, is there a sidewalk on the opposite side of Grand Highway that's maintained by anyone?
The county.
It's the county. So if this were to fall in someone, it would either fall on the county's responsibility or the property owner's responsibility, correct, is what I'm trying to get at. So this wouldn't, if it were maintained by someone other than the property owner, it would be a Lake County issue, correct?
Well, to answer your question, for right-of-way maintenance in that area, it is under Lake County. In this case, Lake County's public works staff, specifically Kim Roderick, is advising that that sidewalk is not maintained by them and has never been maintained by them. I was able to find the initial construction plans from 1992. This is what the city has on file as far as a survey. I'm going to see if I can't zoom it.
Oh, much better.
Is the display recorded?
Yes, at this time, I believe it is.
Okay.
So I think we're really just looking at that bottom left corner where we want to get to.
Right.
Bear with me, board.
I think you need to use the plus key that.
You need a good survey to tell.
It's hard for me to see where I'm at.
So, Miss, your survey is based upon what? In other words, you had a survey done of property that was purchased?
The survey that, the copy that I provided was at time of development.
So it would incorporate the ground that we're
Property line.
speaking of right now?
Yeah, and I
And
have
it-
multiple surveys.
But it would clarify that you own or don't own.
Well,
prop-
to be honest with you, it's not that clear.
Oh.
It's the way we view it, the way I've had people view it, our development team, it's showing that it does not fall under our responsibility. However, what they have on a property appraisal, if you follow the property line, it does lean towards, it's our property. So I just needed what I requested is just clarification on that. And I actually made I made the first repair to the sidewalk, which was $3,000, just out of good faith, because we were violated for it, and I did ask him, I said, are you sure this falls under our property? And he says, yes, I double checked, and it does, so I made the repair. The second repair violation was when it was brought to my attention, we really need to verify this is falling under our property.
Yeah. I think on this situation here, what's unique is because this has such a large setback on Grand Highway there, that it could be confusing on whose area really that is.
We also have a Duke easement on
Need
that
a
whole
up-to-date
lot
survey.
area. And during this time, I included a photo of that, they were replacing the electrical poles. So there was no way any work could have been done in the last 30 days with their trucks and their poles and everything.
Is that Duke easement, your easement for the benefit, your own property with the easement to benefit Duke?
Yes.
And that falls into the sidewalk area or just inside of it?
Yes.
So it sounds like then that's your sidewalk if it's
And
your
I-
area?
yeah,
Okay.
See if that clarifies.
The poles are on the inside of the sidewalk.
20-foot easement, center line.
Right, maybe.
It's usually what they have, 15 to 20 feet.
Okay.
So that's,
It's a tough one.
I have one other question.
Yes.
As a management company, can you tell me that the owners, as of now, are they the original owners or they purchased?
No, they, V3 is a management and ownership. We actually own the property and sold it to R&M Retail.
Makes it.
We continue to manage it
Okay.
with the new ownership.
Did you, now with that said, were you the company that put in the permit to build this plaza and build all the structures? No, that's what I'm just trying to find out, because at the date of construction, all that has to be put into the town, and then that would show me and tell me who put the sidewalk down.
Right, yeah, we didn't build this particular property, and again, sometimes the development agreement covers that, and I wasn't able to locate one of those.
Okay, thank you.
I have put up the survey that the city has on file. I hope that this helps. So this right here, if you see, this is the sidewalk. And then if you zoom out, these are the parcels, I believe, and this is the line. If that helps. And I can zoom in as needed.
could you go up to the corner?
Yes.
Yeah, that looks like it's on the property. Because you can see the dark blue line, which is your property line. So that is on your property.
And then can you
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
just slowly run it all the way?
Yes.
You continue down. And there's the corner of the lot. It's within your property.
Okay, yeah, that's, I just need a
It's
verification
clear right
on
there.
that. That's-
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe and she can print it.
Yeah. I think we'll do that.
Do you still need this?
Um,
I'll put it back. Sorry about that.
we're just gonna get a copy printed so that you can all see it in full. Is that okay? Okay. Yeah, if we could do that.
Okay.
And what are we requesting again?
This is the survey that the city has on
No,
file.
what are we requesting again as far as
Oh,
both
yes.
cases?
Yes, so the two proposed violations, it's the maintaining the sidewalk and the removal of the prohibited signs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll defer to Josh on that.
Mr. Cortez, what was the compliance date you asked for?
I just wanted to state briefly, the Code Enforcement Manager, E.B. Wallace, is going to print out that document so that we can hand that to each member of the board. And then the question was, what was the compliance date?
I think June 17th. Correct? June 17th? I think that's what I wrote down.
The compliance date in this case is going to be 4/29/26.
No, your recommendation for when they come into compliance.
June 17th, 2026. My apologies.
Is that doable for you to have this kind of work done within that time frame?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, again,
I'd be
I
impressed.
have the same company that already made the repair there. You know, he's aware of the situation. I said, I wanted to resolve this prior to coming to the hearing. I didn't wanna have to do this. Obviously, I had to bring somebody with me due to the timeframe. If it falls on us, it falls on us. We take full responsibility for it. So yes, June
Okay.
17th is doable.
okay. Okay, then we need to make a motion on two separate items here.
I would just ask that we
Wait,
survey
for-
to be printed so that you can rely on evidence.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, are we discussing signs?
Yes.
That violation?
I'm coming to signs now.
Okay.
I'm assuming in your leases, you have rules and regulations that deal with signage and whatnot. So, assuming then you're gonna probably work on enforcing that, going forward.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
So, one of the banner signs is actually Dunkin' Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
They continue to put a sign on our property. They're a different parcel. We don't own the Dunkin' Donuts lot, but they put their sign on our property.
Yeah.
So 3 times I've sent a vendor out to pick up every sign, every flag, and get rid of it. I continuously sent emails to my tenants, do not put signs outside. They're advertising their business. Some of them are small companies and they're advertising their business. They don't listen to me, even though I throw their signs out, they do it again. This is an ongoing thing in retail shopping centers.
Yeah, my condolences. I
Yeah.
personally, in my personal life, manage large commercial real estate, and it is a constant issue of bandit signs that
Yeah.
end up everywhere. So,
Yes, yes.
understandable.
Ms. Wallace may take a moment to print out the survey since she has to shrink it for the printer to print out, so it may take her a moment.
Thank you. I guess maybe we can take a 5-minute recess in case someone likes to use the lavatory or something.
We can, if you'd like, with the instruction that obviously you can't discuss the case amongst yourselves or any other matter that may come before the board while we're in recess, and you can't talk to staff and you can't talk to the respondent.
So be it.
Time is 7:45. Do you wish to take a
7:50?
5-minute recess? Okay.
Just decides, well, you had enough sleep. I said it's still dark out.
Madam Chair, did you say we'd be off the record until 7:50?
Yes, sir.
If you want to go back on the record, I can provide some advice of how we can continue while we're waiting on the copy.
Yes, sir. We're back on the record?
All right, it's 7:52, and Madam Chair, they're still waiting on the copies. It's a large survey. I think it was from the 90s, so it takes a moment. If the board would like to continue with its other business so that we don't delay other folks that are here, what you could do is take a motion to table, temporarily table this case, and then move on to the next case while we're waiting on the copy.
Thank you, sir. I would like to make a motion to table this case and move forward with the other cases.
I second.
Never mind.
I hesitated.
Yeah, okay.
Saved by the bell.
That's okay, I don't need it. You do that.
Thank you.
It's like an old Xerox machine.
And do we have a copy for the respondent?
Thanks. Oh, now I see it.
All right, so we're back on the record in case numbers 2025-000213 and 26-0000.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, yeah. You each have been provided the survey on file from the city of Clermont. If you can see on the screen, we also have it blown up. This right here is the sidewalk. This right here is the property line. And upon reviewing the respondents' survey, I don't, but although it's unverified whether they match the one that the city of Clermont has, I don't think that we are in disagreement that the property owner owns it. If I'm reading correctly on the third to last page of the respondent's packet, it just says that the ingress and egress is the two roads, Highway 50 East and South Grand Highway. Those are the less and accept parcels. In other words, that is what the Lake County maintains. I believe it just says that the survey does not identify any sidewalk feature within these parcels, meaning that it doesn't identify that the sidewalk is exempt from their maintenance. So I think that we are on the same page as far as the property.
Yeah, I just needed the clarification on
Okay.
from you guys.
Okay, I apologize for that not being clear.
And the town recommendation is?
The staff recommendation is to find the respondent was in violation of section 117-8 subsection 15, and to find the respondent is in violation of all other sections stated. Additionally, to assess a fine of $250 for each case individually per day for every day that the property remains in violation after June 17th, 2026.
So for purposes of a motion, they would like a motion with respect to each case, and it's number 5 in your motions list. With respect to 117-8 subsection 15, and the the portion of the recommended motion in number 5, that I move to find the respondent is in violation of the City of Clermont's Code of Ordinances as listed in the notice of violation filed in this matter. You could say with the exception of 117-8 subsection 15.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 25-000203, I move to find that the respondent as listed in the notice of violation, or move that respondent is in violation of the City of Clermont's Code of Ordinances as listed in the notice violation filed in this matter, which is 117-8.
With the exception of 117-8 subsection 15.
With the exception of 117-8 subsection 15. I move to order that the respondent correct the violation on or before June 17th. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall take the remedial action as set forth in the notice of violation. If the respondent does not comply with this order, a fine of $250 per day will be imposed for each day the violation continues past June 17th, 2026. The respondent is further ordered to contact Code Enforcement Office for compliance and to arrange an inspection of the property to verify compliance with this order.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we have to do the same for the second, correct?
Yes, sir.
Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case CEB 26-000083, I move to find that the respondent is in violation of the City of Clermont's Code of Ordinances with the exception of subsection 117-8.
Subsection 15.
Subsection 15. I move to order that the respondent correct the violation on or before June 17th. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall take the remedial action as set forth in the notice of violation. If the respondent does not comply with this order, a fine of $250 per day will be imposed for each day that the violation continue past June 17th, 2026. The respondent is further ordered to contact Code Enforcement Office for compliance and arrange an inspection of the property to verify compliance with this order.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I do have a request. Can you please provide the areas that need to be, repaired?
You would have to speak to the,
Code enforcement will
Code
take care of
enforcement
you.
staff.
I requested it a month ago and never got
You still have to speak to them because we don't do that.
it. Okay, okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to move to item 6. This is case number 26-000065. The respondent in this matter is John P. and Ann D. Adams Family LP. The property address is 1600 Hancock Road. The city code sections cited in this matter are sections 117-8, subsections 11, 15, 19, and 22. You've seen these in the last cases, with now the addition of subsection 19, which states off-site signs except for those expressly permitted in section 117-16. This is an overhead view of the property, a screenshot from Lake County Property Appraiser showing the property's location. Notice of violation in this matter was sent March 18th, 2026, and the compliance date was April 2nd, 2026. The notice of violation was delivered on April 6th. Notice of hearing was sent April 14th, and the notice of hearing was posted on May 4th. The compliance status as of today's hearings, the property is in compliance. This is a copy of the notice of violation that was sent to the respondent, showing delivered on April 6th. This is the notice to appear and the affidavit of posting, dated May 4th, 2026. These are a few emails from myself and from the property manager of the property, the respondent's property. This is just essentially him stating that he was a good contact, and that he was notified via email as well. Looks like a few of you are still reading, so I will wait to move on. I'm going to move on. This is a photograph taken on 3/18/26 showing a banner sign draped over one of the businesses. Again, another photo taken on 3/18/2026 of a banner sign in the city's right-of-way. A photograph taken on 4/7/2026 showing a sandwich board sign. Photo taken on 4/13/2026. This is the notice of violation and notice of hearing that were posted on the property dated May 4th, 2026. Photo today showing that the property is in compliance. Staff recommendation to the Code Enforcement Board is to find the respondent was in violation of the section stated. I have nothing further if you have any questions for me.
Was that banner gone across the door as well? I didn't see that in the pictures.
It is.
Okay, thank you.
So staff's looking for an adjudication only?
That's correct.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this case? Okay. I believe we're looking for a motion just to show that there was a violation.
Yep, it would be a motion to find the respondent was in violation, as listed in the notice of violation, and has since come into compliance.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion. On case 26-000065, I move that the respondent was in violation and their property is currently in violation not currently in violation per the notices from city staff.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 7, case number 25-000149. The respondent, the property owner, is Pop Florida Properties, LLC, and the property address is 16530 State Road 50. The city code sections cited in this matter were sections 3023 of the International Property Maintenance Code, sidewalks and driveways, 3081 of the International Property Maintenance Code, accumulation of rubbish or garbage, and section 117.8, prohibited signs, exceptions 22, subsection 22. You've seen these sections in previous cases, now with including 3081, accumulation of rubbish or garbage, which states exterior property and premises and the interior of every structure shall be free from any accumulation of rubbish or garbage. This is a screenshot from GIS showing the property's location. Case summary, this was a citizen complaint. Notice of violation in this matter was sent January 6th, 2026. Notice of violation was posted January 7th. Notice of violation compliance date was February 1st, 2026. Notice of violation was delivered January 12th. Notice of hearing was sent April 15th, 2026, and the notice of hearing was delivered on April 20th, 2026. The status of the property as of today's hearing is that they are non-compliant. This is the notice of violation showing that it was both delivered and posted on the property. Notice to appear showing that it was delivered. This was a photograph taken November 18th of 2025 showing rubbish, accumulation of garbage on the property. Photo taken January 6, 2026 showing signage on the property, prohibited signage. Another photo taken January 6 showing prohibited signage. This is a photo that shows like a trough drain or a channel drain that a portion of the grate is missing. And so as motorists drive over top of this, it's a very unpleasant experience, to say the least. And so this channel drain is not being maintained. It's not functioning as intended. Photo taken February 5th, 2026, showing accumulation of rubbish and garbage on the property. Again, February 5th, accumulation of rubbish and garbage. A photo taken on 4/14/26 showing prohibited signage. Prohibited signage. Accumulation of rubbish and garbage. A photo taken today showing prohibited signage. More signage. The channel drain has not been repaired. Some minor accumulation in the rear, on the sides near the fire hydrant. The staff recommendation in this case is to find the respondent in violation of section stated, to assess a fine of $250 per day for every day the property remains in violation after June 17th, 2026. I have nothing further if you have any questions for me.
Have they been in contact with you at all?
Myself and the code enforcement manager, Evie Wallace, spoke briefly with a gentleman who at that time advised to be their attorney. I don't know if that gentleman is still representing the respondent, but communication before and after that one instance, no, nothing.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here to represent this case?
I'll make a motion.
Please.
Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case CB 25-000149, I move to find that the respondent is in violation of the City of Clermont's Code of Ordinances as listed in the notice of violation filed in this matter. I move to order that the respondent correct the violation on or before June 17th. In order to correct the violation, respondent shall take the remedial action as set forth in the notice of violation. If the respondent does not comply with this order, a fine of $250 will be imposed for each day the violation continues past June 17th, 2026. The respondent is further ordered to contact Code Enforcement Office for compliance and to arrange an inspection of the property to verify compliance with the order.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Evening again, this is the item 10, this will be the last case heard, as item 9 was pulled. Not sure, I believe we said that, but just a reminder. So this is item 10, case 25-000090. This is 501 Pitt Street, Sioukis Properties LLC. This is for violations of 1853, which is our nuisance code for prohibited items, conditions, actions, accumulation of materials. 1854 with creation and maintenance of a nuisance by the owner. And for the International Property Maintenance Code 302.4 weeds. This is the location of the property from Lake County Property Appraiser. Complaint was received September 9th, 2025. The notice of violation was sent out on September 25th, 2025. Notice of hearing sent out December of 25. The notice of violation and the hearing notice were resent via certified mail January of 26. All certified mail notices were returned. None of them were signed for, therefore we didn't have due process. This went on to the January hearing. It was going to be scheduled for the January hearing. It was not. I recited them with a brand new notice of violation, giving them more time to correct. That was posted on April 15th, 2026, and a new notice of hearing was posted May 4th, 2026. As of today, the property is still non-compliant. I had zero contact from the owner. I did speak with the tenant back in December of 25. He provided a phone number. The phone number did not work, did not go through. This is the notice of violation. The one on the left was 10/10/25. That was the first one that I cited them with. That was the weeds. And it's basically just weeds, tall grass. And the notice to appear. The notice to appear was resent to the registered agent, which was, the registered agent is also the owner. They are their own registered agent for this LLC. This is the new notice of violation that was dated 4/15/2026. The affidavit of posting. The new notice to appear and the affidavit of posting. So this is the property. This was back in September of 25, showing the tall grass, as well as within that grass there is some debris from a tree that fell during the October 10th, 2024 hurricane that we had. This is the height of the grass. Kind of hard to see that yardstick in there, but if you see on this little area right here, that marker that is on the yardstick, that's 18 inches. As you can see, this is well over that 18-inch mark. This is a door hanger I left on their door explaining the violation, and a printout of the property lines showing that that is definitely their property. This was September 24th. Some of it had been cleaned up at that point. December 9th, you can see a lot more of the debris. And to the rear, if you can look at the screen, right back here, this tree is fallen and actually fell onto the neighboring property's fence. This tree is still on site, as well as all the debris in this location here. December 9th, 2025. That is the neighbor's fence that this tree fell on. It's a picture of the property posted. It's kind of hard to see, but this picture is supposed to show this tree underneath this vegetation. The tree has been down there so long, the vegetation has grown up all around it. But this tree is the one that fell on the during the hurricane and onto the neighboring property's fence. May 4th, the notice to appear was posted. Some more pictures of the violation. Tried to zoom in on that picture, so it's a little distorted. And this is taken today at 11:01. Again today at 11:01. This was also today. So the tree fell during the October 10th, 2024 hurricane. The city allowed time for the recovery and repairs. A formal complaint was received in September 25. December, spoke with the tenant and advised them of the issue. Owner's phone number provided, but it was not accepting calls. No contact from the owner at this time. All certified mail sent to the house and to the registered agent have been returned. To the owner's property and the registered agent's property, all mail sent there has been returned. The area around the tree and the debris has been mowed, but the tree and the debris have not been moved at all. Staff recommendation is to find the respondent in violation of the section stated and to assess a fine of $150 per day for every day the property remains in violation after July 17th, 2026. That's providing them with 60 days. That's all I have. Any questions for me?
I have one question.
Yes.
The notice is in violation, was that sent to the property, or was there a separate address for the owner that was sent to?
So I will go back to them. They were sent to the property owner and then to the registered agent for the property owner, which is also the same as the property owner's address. It was not sent to this property itself. This is a
Okay.
rental property.
Okay, thank you.
And the certified mail, I assume, was returned as received?
No.
To you, is not received?
It was not, it was just returned to me.
Okay, so
It
no
was
one
not si-
ever,
not
no one
signed
ever
for.
signed for anything?
Correct, yeah. That's why the property wound up being posted.
Does the address for the respondent's address, or does that address look like a residential address that you would be sending it to?
It is a residential address.
Okay. I have to ask, is there anyone here to respond to this case? No? Okay. May I get a motion, please?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion, based on the testimony and evidence provided in case 25-000090. I move to find the respondent is in violation of the City of Clermont's Code of Ordinance as listed in the notice of violation filed in this matter. I move to order that the respondent correct the violation on or before July 17th, 2026. In order to correct this violation, the respondent shall take remedial action as set forth in the notice of violation. If the respondent does not comply with this order, a fine of $150 a day will be imposed for a fine of $150 will be imposed for each day the violation continues past July 17th, 2026. The respondent is further ordered to contact Code Enforcement Office for compliance and to arrange an inspection of the property to verify compliance with this order.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion pass. Now, I also have to ask, does anyone wants to come up and speak?
For the public comment period?
Correct. That would be a no. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Nope.
We've got a couple of other items of business.
Oh,
Usually,
I thought- I'm
don't worry,
sorry,
I'm
I
going to be
thought-
very brief with mine.
Okay.
It is in April or May of every year, you all have to annually nominate someone for chair and then for vice chair. It takes place either in April or May, depending on your schedule, since you meet every other month. So it's not a horrifically burdensome process. You don't have to have a motion and a second. We just accept nominations for anyone for chair. Once all the nominations are in, I just ask you to raise, I'll go in order of the nominations, ask you to raise your hand for that person. Whoever has majority hands up ultimately wins. But it's totally up to you all who you wish to nominate for chair.
I'd like to go ahead and nominate Ms. Camps for another year as chair.
I second. Not necessary to second. Any other nominations? You can return the favor too. It's always allowed. But any other nominations? Okay. Then just by show of hands, all those in favor of the nomination. All right, congratulations. Any against? Nope, all right. Congratulations, Chair. Now you need to select a vice chair.
I would like to nominate Mr. Evan as vice chair, as he's done a great job so far.
Any other nominations? All right, and for sake of formality, all of you raise your hands in favor of vice chair? Okay, it's unanimous. We have a vice chair. Now, did staff have anything else for them before I talk about this 110 pages?
No, wait, no umbrella this year?
No.
Oh, darn. Not even a cupcake?
Budget cuts, budget cuts.
Well, I'm going to start by saying that I heard that some of us were up at 4:30 and then 5:30, and so I'm going to be brief. You have a 110-page packet in front of you, so you have homework. I'm going to tell you the things you need to do between now and July 1st. For those of you that have just joined the board, you have 30 days after you've joined the board to fill out Form 1 for the Commission on Ethics. You can do it by going, you just Google Florida Commission on Ethics Form 1. It shows up, and you fill it out. It is, you might think it's arduous, but it is not Form 6. It is much easier. So each year, every member is required to do it by July 1st. They give you a grace period until September. So if you're late, it's okay, but you can actually find a copy of the form. You fill it out online now. That's different than in years past. But Form 1 is on page 16 of your packet. For page numbers, you'll want to look in the upper right-hand corner. They're big and bold. So I include what you have to put in Form 1. I include the instructions. So you have to fill out Form 1 at 3 different times. You have to do it once a year in the time frame. You have to fill it out when you first join the board, and then when you leave the board, you have to fill it out too. It's slightly different. It's Form 1F for when it's your final Form 1. But you have to do those. There's fines and penalties that accrue if you don't complete it. So please make every effort to do so, but remember you do have a grace period. You should not need...
Question,
Yes,
real
sir.
quick, sorry, on the financial disclosure forms. If you've already had to fill them out on another board, do you have to fill those out again in the last 12 months?
Let's assume not another board for the city of Clermont.
Okay.
So, yes, you have to fill one out for the city of Clermont. I fill one out, but I list all of the places. So as long as city of Clermont is listed on your form
If I
one,
can go in there and change it and add it?
you can.
Okay.
And you may, if you go in, I've filled one of these out since 2016. And for the life of me, I couldn't find them. I'd go in and list the client and couldn't find them. But as city attorney for a couple different places, I have to fill them out. I fill them out every year, and they're maintained, and it should be on file.
And it's on the city's website, correct, where we can fill
No.
this out?
Florida Commission on Ethics.
Say
Just Google
again?
Florida Commission on Ethics,
It's tough to download the form.
Form 1. Well, you actually fill it out online now.
Yeah, I tried that too. I couldn't even get it online.
Then I recommend you contact the clerk, and she can assist you.
We did, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I was able to get it on my tablet. Couldn't get it on my computer. Figure that out.
Sometimes it's like, which Internet Explorer you're using?
No.
Which version?
Like if you're using Google Chrome.
That's what I used to do. It wouldn't take it.
So the other, so all, Everything I would say, except for some of the Commission on Ethics opinions in here, if you think you have a conflict, are good reading material. The packet covers the basics about Florida Sunshine Law and public records, which I talked to you a little bit about last time. I'm going to talk to you about them again because it's what keeps you out of jail. Then it covers quasi-judicial hearings. It covers Chapter 112, Florida statutes, which is the state code of ethics. It covers voting conflicts. It covers other types of conflicts of interest when you cannot serve. 112.313, I think it goes to like subsection 17. Those are all things you should read. I can go over them in more detail when we talk next time. I know it's after 8:30. And then what I have in here may be a benefit to you. I've got the Chapter 162 Florida statutes, which governs code enforcement. And rather than our home rule, it's what gives us the authority to have this board and to enter our orders and to assess fines and keep people into compliance. And then when we can foreclose upon them, whether or not this board gives authorizations to foreclose, all of those things are then 162. And then after that, they're also adopted by reference into the city's code of ordinances, which is also listed in here. One of the things in the city's code of ordinances that you have not heard, but you may hear in the future, are actually public nuisance actions. You also sit as the Public Nuisance Abatement Board. Slightly different procedure than what you've seen so far. We haven't had one yet, but you may see them, and we can talk about them in the future. But let's talk about the fun stuff, how to stay out of jail. When you come into the meeting, do not talk to anyone else, any of your board members, about any matter that may foreseeably come before your board, any matter that came before this board last time, any matter that's coming before your board tonight. Do not talk to each other about anything that may foreseeably come before you until that gavel sounds, the meeting starts, we go on the record, then that's your time to talk about anything. And when the gavel sounds to end the meeting and we call the meeting at 8:35, don't talk about any matter which might foreseeably come before you. If you do, those are sunshine violations. There are two different types. They're the kind that the people in the audience and the people that see when you go to your car or you're talking about your grandkids happen and they accuse you of them. The other kind are when you intentionally or knowingly commit a sunshine violation. If you knowingly commit a sunshine violation, it's a second-degree misdemeanor punishable by 60 days in the county jail. And it does happen. And there is no prosecutor alive that would like anything more than to put a public official in jail for a violation of the sunshine. Nothing gets them in the headlines more. It's great for building a career. Just Google Florida sunshine violations. You will find 5 or 6 newspaper articles from late 2025 to today about accusations of sunshine violations. Most of the time, those occur when an aggrieved party believes 2 or more of you are doing something that violates the law. I have defended multiple sunshine violations, civil cases, where 2 or more members of the same board appeared to be engaged in a conversation. The aggrieved party didn't know what they were talking about, but they assumed, based on maybe where they were, what they were talking about. Best example I can give you is City of Satellite Beach. They had a public workshop noticed where they were going to have experts come in. I think Aaron Brockovich's firm was going to come in, and it had to do with water quality around Patrick's Air Force Base. It was a hot topic for the community. Well, it turned out before the meeting they decided not to hold a public workshop. Instead, staff held a meeting with, let's say, the Aaron Brockovich folks. One member of the governing body attended the meeting for half an hour. Then that member would leave, and another member would come in. Where did they wait while they were waiting to go in for 30 minutes? They waited in the antechamber out there. And the public wasn't allowed in because it was just a staff meeting with the Aaron Brockovich people. But the public could see into the building and saw 2 members of the city council sitting there, and they sued them. And we represented them. After about the 3rd motion to dismiss the complaint, we won, because the one thing they could not allege is what they were talking about. They knew what was being said inside, but they didn't know what the two or more members were saying. And you have to be able to prove that, or at least allege it in good faith in Florida, at risk of sanctions, what the communication was. So, what's the best rule of thumb? When in doubt, don't. The Sunshine Law, it's great for public business, it is great for the public, it runs contrary to small town politeness. It does. But it's designed to prevent public corruption. It is a wonderful thing. It's a unique thing for Florida compared to other places, including our legislature. But when in doubt, don't. So that means if you're out to lunch and you see another member of the board, do you not speak to them? No. Say hi. But maybe don't go to lunch together. Maybe don't go to the local tavern together on a Friday night. Maybe at a Christmas party, say hi. Just always be aware of your surroundings. There's nothing inappropriate about before the meeting, you know, we talk about what our grandkids are doing, what our kids are doing, that's fine. But, you know, just be cognizant. There are people here who are not happy. So if before the meeting you're leaned over and you're talking to each other, just imagine how they might think what you're saying. So just be aware of your surroundings. If I ignore you or if I tell you to stop or something like that, it's about appearances. Appearances do matter. So keep that in mind. What does the Sunshine Law not prohibit? One of you can talk to a member of the city council anytime you want. You can talk to a member of the planning board anytime you want. It's 2 or more members of the same board. That's what it prohibits outside communications about. Switching to public records. Public records violations contain the same prohibitions, the same second-degree misdemeanor if you intentionally destroy a public record. So what is a public record? Back when the Florida Constitution was adopted and they adopted the section of the Constitution in Chapter 119, it meant documents. But what does it really mean? It means anything that can be transmitted or communicated to convey information. So your text messages. If you get a text message from a member of the public about the meeting tonight, guess what? That's a public record. I'm going to leap to the assumption that the city does not provide you all with cell phones. Even though we have a custodian of records, the clerk, every public official is considered their own custodian of their records. So your cell phone, there are apps you can buy. There's old-fashioned, you can take a picture of it, you can do whatever. I recommend you do not engage in communications with members of the public about any public business because that is a public record, so you're not allowed to destroy it. If it's requested, you have to be able to produce it, so you have to find a way to keep and preserve them. There are these very long retention schedules published by the Secretary of State's office about different records and how long they have to be kept. Voicemail messages also have to be preserved if it's related to public business. So to the extent you can, even though it is rude, do not make a habit of using your cell phone, text messages and voicemails to conduct public business because all of those are public records. The easiest thing you can do is every email you send or every email you receive, if you simply copy the clerk on it, if you get it from the city, it's already on the city server. But if you are sending an email to a member of the public and it's about public business and you're conveying information or knowledge of some kind, just copy the city clerk on it. It's then preserved by the city. Facebook. I hate Facebook. If you have a Facebook page and it is your private Facebook page, but you talk about your work here on the Code Enforcement Board, guess what? That information you just stuck on your Facebook page is a public record. If you create, maybe you all are running for office, but nobody here currently is running for office. You're on the Code Enforcement Board. But there are elected officials who create their own public Facebook page where they want to talk about their public ideas and policies. And they get to decide at the outset whether they allow comments or they don't allow comments. You run the risk of creating a public forum if you have a public Facebook page about your public work and you allow comments. For public records purposes, just know you have to preserve them. You cannot delete them. You may be able to take them down, but they have to be preserved, send them to the clerk. but you also do run the risk of creating an open and public forum, which has First Amendment issues, not public records issues. But don't delete it. Maintain it, save it, give it to the clerk. Quasi-judicial hearings, there's a whole section of slides in here. Everything you do is a quasi-judicial hearing. I'm 1 minute over when I said I would stop. Here's one thing you should know. The part in there about ex parte communications. Any member of the public, any respondent that wants to talk to one of you outside of the public meeting about their issue, that is considered ex parte communications. You have to disclose it to overcome a presumption of bias. You disclose it at the hearing, before the hearing starts, if you have a communications with any of the respondents. If you, even though it's not communications, you all are the board. You are sitting as judges. You make your decision based on the evidence that the city provides you and based on the evidence the respondent provides you. Today was a good illustration of that. We had evidence from both sides. You weigh the evidence. You're not the prosecutors. You're not the investigators. I highly advise you not to go make site visits. If you do, okay, but you better disclose it, because it's just like an ex parte communication. Another way would be if you were, I saw this at a planning board meeting, somebody was talking about a variance, and a board member went to look to see how expensive it would be to put the type of fence they wanted to put in and whether or not it would be a hardship. And so they're talking about this website and the amount, the cost of the fence from Lowe's. Well, guess what? Now you got to print that out and save it because that was stupid. Don't do that. So my advice to you is do your job, be judges. Don't be prosecutors, don't be investigators. If you do, make sure you disclose. The issue there is all about due process, and it's about bias. I have two jobs. One's to keep you out of jail. The other is to try to preserve the record, so if anybody appeals, your decision is upheld. Ex parte communications also, it's not when you talk to the clerk, but if you were to talk outside of the meeting to one of the code enforcement officers who'd investigated a case and you had a question about it. I'm not telling you it's wrong to do that. I'm discouraging you from doing it, but disclose it. Who you talk to, when you talk to them, about what. That's so the respondent has the due process that they can inquire of you or they can inquire of them. So I would recommend refraining from doing that, but if you do, disclose. 3 minutes over when I said. I think you all have homework. Flip through this, find something. Our next meeting, have a question. You can also call me. I will give you a card. I'm not going to read my cell phone into the record, but you can call me and I'll answer any questions you have. Do you all have any questions as you sit here today before you want to leave?
You said site visits, does that include the drive-by?
A purposeful drive-by, if it happens to be on Highway 50 as you drive by and you drive by it every day, no, you don't have to disclose that. But if you purposefully went by, yeah, you should disclose. Yeah, I would disclose it in abundance of caution because it protects the city from any later, the way it comes up isn't because somebody saw you. The way it comes up would be if you said, well, look, I went and drove by your property and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, well, they didn't know that when the hearing started. You can still disclose it and you can talk about it and they can ask you questions about it. It's just better if you get that out front. It's better for the city at the end of the day. I don't have, obviously you're a code enforcement board, but I usually have issues with other boards like planning board members who really, really want to be code enforcement board members. And so they, at the planning board meeting, like to announce all the code enforcement violations that they see, not here in Clermont, but in other places. So I would just refrain from being an independent prosecutor, make your decisions based on the competent, substantial evidence you hear before you. Make sure this board is excellent about giving due process. Please note that while respondents and members of the public are allowed to speak, repetitive, redundant, topics that don't have any issue to it, you're okay to politely shut it down or to say, do you have any further comments? You can do that as a board. You don't need to let them go on ad nauseum about the same thing for 20 minutes. It is also, nobody ever got reversed for giving too much due process. And you can always inquire of me while I'm sitting there. Is it okay to ask them to stop making repetitive comments? Absolutely.
So Brian, if a case comes up of a business that you visited because you were going to buy something, and that case happens to come up down the road, do you disclose that you were at that business?
No, you weren't there for purposes of reaching a conclusion in the case.
Okay.
You were just there shopping.
But
So-
you don't have to disclose that.
Right.
Oh, hey, I see this case, I was at that store.
Yeah, I've been to Walmart. So no, it's because you're supposed to make your decision based on the evidence you hear at the hearing,
Right.
not on anything outside without a disclosure and the opportunity to question about it. No, if you go to a restaurant that has a code enforcement,
That's a good.
you don't need to
example.
disclose that. If you went there to check on the
They're always in
violation,
violation. I don't know why, but restaurants are always in violation for some reason or other.
any other questions?
No, I'm done. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna need a ride. I don't drive at night.